This is my review of Rising the Shield Hero, episode 25, The Rising of the Shield Hero. It's certainly an interesting title. So, all in all, it was a finale I liked, it was a finale I enjoyed, except for three big issues that came up. I mean, they were big to me, they bothered me, but maybe they didn't bother you so much, maybe you liked the way they came out, but I want to talk about them first so we can get into what I really loved about the episode. First off, oh god, the Queen. I know you're trying to rear up support, I know you're trying to energize soldiers, but saying the victory belongs to all of us, no, that's bull. That's just bull. I mean, yeah, maybe some of you soldiers did your part, you saved some lives, killed some monsters, but just, no. You other three heroes, absolutely freaking nothing, you deserve nothing, and you suck. I'll talk more about them later, but moving on. Now, Fumi. I love you, man. I really do, but when the hell were you wavering? Seriously, at what point in the series were you debating whether or not you wanted to go home or stay here? I mean, don't get me wrong, I love this scene just for the shot we got. It's absolutely amazing. Old Nefumi looking at new Nefumi. It's a great shot, I love it. It's probably a title card for this video, but at no point in this series did you ever consider, what if I stayed here? What if I didn't go back? I know that because I've been yelling at you. I've been yelling that at you since literally the first episode. Stay in this freaking world. You've got people that love you, an entire freaking city at this point. So, yes, when he said he'd been wavering for a while now, that just ticked me off because, no, I would have very much liked to see him waver. I would have loved to see him say to himself, do I really want to leave here? Or what's waiting for me back home? Or I don't think Raphtalia will survive without me. Or just, well, he technically said he wanted to make sure they could live without him, but just, no. No, now, Fumi, you never said that. You never implied that you were wavering before. That's pretty mild, but it still ticked me off, and Okay, let's move on to the next moment, and this one, I know a lot of shippers online love this moment, but I just couldn't. I just really couldn't get you know? And for the record, yes, this is definitely a kiss. I mean, look at the way he's holding her. Look at the way her arms are around him. Look at the way their heads are tilted. I mean, look at the way he blushes right afterwards. That was definitely a kiss, 100%. If we do get a second season, I almost feel like they're going to have to retcon this. It's not that I have an issue with Naofumi dating the 12-year-old girl he basically adopted, though that is a little problematic. It's that it feels like there wasn't enough build up to this moment. I mean, on Raphtalia aside, sure, she's been actively flirting with Naofumi since episode 4. I got no issues with that, but Naofumi, he has shown no physical interest in her up to this point whatsoever. I mean, in her swimsuit, he's like, oh, that's going to be very practical. When she was getting her slave price, he's like, oh, yeah, looks good, whatever. He's shown no real interest in her as a woman. Up to this point, she has been his best friend, his supporter, his close ally, but I just don't see, any romantic relationships between the two currently. I'm sure later on light novel this happens, but if I had to guess, I'm going to assume this happens way, way further in the future of the light novel, so yeah. This was a bit disappointing, honestly. Though oh god, the scene of Philo running in and wanting to be part of it and telling Melty to join her, that was pretty great and almost made up for how much I just like that scene. Again, I have no issue with them together, even though I think Raphtalia mentally is still like 12 years old, but it just felt rushed to me. Let me know what you thought down below. Was it rushed? Is their relationship inappropriate? Is their relationship pedo-y? Yeah, let me know what you think. Let's move on. I'm going to talk about the heroes, or the vassal wielders from another world right now. First off, Therese. She really had to hold her shoulder, and her hand was shaking in this one scene. So I'm curious if there's, I don't know, a price to pay, or if her spells are actually damaging her when she does them. I certainly think that'd be interesting if her life force is going down over time, and she has to recover after using a certain number of spells, or if eventually she'll just break completely. Then later on, she had a very interesting spell. I've theorized before she's actually a living, breathing gemstone, and she sacrificed a gemstone. I mean, she literally blew it up to use her attack, and I kind of feel like that's murder. Like that'd be Nafumi killing Philo to do an ultimate attack. That just feels weird to me and makes me think her connection to gemstones might not be that serious as I originally thought. Though I did love this combo spell the two of them used. Though, of course, it wasn't able to break Nafumi's shell, which I absolutely loved. This really annoyed Glass. Or Glassy, as Arc calls her, which... Oh my god, that is the... That's a pretty cute nickname that I really like. It just really undermines how serious of a character she is, and I absolutely love it. I hope we get more of Arc and Glass down the road interacting with each other, because that just sounds really fun to me. Anyway, then Glass and Nafumi decide to fight one-on-one, and I think it's interesting they're fighting on a ship. You know, just like they did in the second wave. Anyway, then she reveals that she is the fan hero, but she is not a cardinal hero, she is a vassal wielder. Which, interesting, I'm guessing that's what they call the heroes of her own world, vassal wielders. I'm not an expert in Japanese history, but I'm fairly certain I've heard the term vassal used to describe a servant or a protector of a lord in series based off feudal Japan. But we also learned something else interesting about her. The Soul Eater Shield. She's weak to it. Nafumi even goes so far as to say it sucks out your very life force. Which is interesting. Later on, she gets a soul-soothing potion, and it seems not just to boost her health, but to increase her stats as well. This means that her health, her magic power, and her stats are all related to her SP. So that makes her a very interesting character. I don't think I've ever actually played in all my times of video gaming a character who plays quite like that. But it'd certainly be interesting. I mean, her, in the beginning of the battle, she uses her best spells. They do the most damage. But over time, she uses less and less powerful spells. And if she's not careful, she'll drain her health to 0. That could certainly be interesting. And honestly, I think she almost does this in the final move. Arc tells her it's too risky. Therese tells her to stop. But she said it's going to be her last move. I think she was planning on putting all of her SP, essentially all of her life force, into this one attack to finally take out the shield hero. I mean, she's fairly serious about this fight. She's even willing to die. I actually don't think she was under the impression that she was going to win in any way whatsoever, but she just couldn't go back having lost. She feels it's her duty to die fighting here and now. And when she says that she's doing all this for the world she loves, she asked Nafumi the same thing. Don't you also wish to protect this world? And this basically breaks Nafumi's mind. I mean, he's thinking... This world, the world I was summoned to against my will, the world where I've been suffering nonstop since day one. I mean, do I really want to protect it that badly? Am I really willing to kill Glass here and now to protect this world that I hate? Am I really willing to destroy the world that she loves? And then we actually see her world. Like I said before, this is a very feudal Japan-y vibe to it. I'm curious if they've also summoned heroes of the past from... like ancient Japan, and if they had an effect on the culture. And anyway, then Raphtalia shows up, and she declares she's going to protect her world, because she doesn't want people to go what Rifana went through. She doesn't want them to have to suffer through the waves anymore. And this makes Nafumi realize that even though he's planning on going back to his world, still at this point, about halfway through the episode, he's still saying, I'm definitely going back to my world, which, again... I have issues with that, but moving on. He decides that this world has Raphtalia, has Philo, has Melty. It has the people that he cares about. And that's reason enough. Reason enough for him to use this shield. Reason enough for him to risk his very life on this battle. Reason enough to kill Glass and destroy her hopes for saving her world. And so he starts the incantation for blood sacrifice as Raphtalia is begging and crying in the background, please, Nafumi, don't do it, you'll die, don't do it. And he comes fairly close to doing it, but instead he got her drunk. Yeah, that was a unconventional way to end a fight by literally getting Glass so drunk she couldn't keep fighting. I mean, even Therese and Lark, who come in after the big explosion, have to cover their mouths because the stench and the vapors of alcohol are so strong in the air, it's nearly knocking them off their feet. I mean, Glass, she still wants to keep fighting, but as Arc says, save that talk for when you're not about to throw up. And then he puts her on his shoulder, which, I don't know, Arc and Glass, I could see that ship working. And then as Arc leaves, he decides he's gonna keep calling the Shield hero Kiddo, because that just feels better to him. Which, I really do love you, Arc. I really do, I gotta say. You're such a great character, and I really want to see more of you down the road. Not as a villain, but as a potential ally to the Shield hero, working together with him to find a way to save both your worlds. Alright, let's talk about the Shield hero right now and his party. So right now he's level 73, Raphtalia is 75, Philo is 76. I assume the second class upgrade comes around level 80, though it's possible it comes around 100. I've seen it both ways. So that would be interesting if when the next season starts they're already in their second class upgrade. I mean, we haven't actually been told what their first class upgrade was yet, but hopefully that's explained if we ever do get a second season. Anyway, Nifumi also finally unlocked his Meteor Shield, which actually provides a very impressive defense for him. I'm glad we finally saw this, used for good. Though he also seemed able to use it for offense, because when he unlocked it, he was able to blow up the caskets of ale from a distance, which makes the shield incredibly useful and far better than the meteor attacks we've seen from the rest of the crew. I mean, really, their meteor attacks have done, no damage at all since we first seen them. I mean, here Nafumi's using it not only to completely defend himself, but to essentially KO glass, so yeah, way more useful. Also see Dark Gas Burning. His Dark Shield ability that makes a fairly impressive explosion I really liked. Did quite a bit of damage, though Glass is able to survive it. I really like this attack. I feel like it's something he can use with limited damage to himself, even though it's a Dark Shield ability. Alright, next up, Green-Haired Girl, or Lisha as she's apparently called. This poor girl. I mean, she is floating in a barrel with just begging for the queen to save her. The queen sees her suffering and just lets out this huge smile. That's it! I know how to use this girl who's begging for help! I'm not gonna be wrong, she did have a pretty impressive moment here where she uses her wind attacks to knock the barrels over Nafumi. I mean, this is a fairly powerful wind attack that gets the barrels pretty far. I'm impressed by her. I'd like to see more of her down the road. Though after this attack, she's apparently also drunk. Poor girl, which I guess kind of makes sense. I mean, we see her later on, and apparently she was trying to drown herself, which, yeah, that's depressing. I've seen a lot of complaints online that her dark story was played off more for laughs than it was a light novel. And I certainly see that here, because, I mean, they basically made a joke about her suicide attempt. Anyway, as it turns out, she was accused of breaking one of the bow hero's favorite accessories and kicked out of the party. And Nifumi really perked up at this moment because it reminded him of how he was accused of something he didn't do, and how it basically completely destroyed his life. What's more, she was framed because she was literally too impressive in the waves. She stole the spotlight, and they all got really pissed and decided to frame her for something to get her out of the party. So she decides she just wants to die right here and now, which, god damn, this girl is depressing. But Nafumi reminds her that she was a huge help during the waves. She saved him, she saved everybody, and she is capable of doing impressive things. He even puts a hand on her shoulder and tells her he doesn't mind helping her out until she can clear her name. I mean, he says it just so they can make the other parties more powerful, but I kind of doubt she's going to end up going back to Bow Hero's party when this is all said and done. I kind of feel like she's just going to stick around with the Shield Hero, because he's so much better than everyone else. And, oh my god, Philo, I'll teach you how to swim. That was just absolutely adorable. Anyway, moving on. Nefumi wonders if this is the choice that he has to make on which world will be sacrificed. The choice that Victoria told him about, but I really don't think it is. I feel like this is something else entirely. She asked him if he wants to fight for the world or the people, and I don't know, that just doesn't feel like this is what she was talking about. He also said he wants to recruit more party members, which I think is great. I'd love to have a big, huge party he can command, Though he says it's in case the 4 cardinal heroes end up getting killed. Yeah, Nafumi, that's not how the waves work. You need the heroes to fight the waves, otherwise they get so hard that no one else can fight them. I mean, I get Raphtalia is stronger than the 3 heroes, but yeah, the 3 heroes can't fight the waves anyway. Anyway, then the queen offers Nafumi the big reward, because remember, back during the trial, she said, ask for anything and I'll give it to you. And he's been debating this for a while, but as he looks at Raphtalia, he knows exactly what he wants. And this seems to amuse the queen quite a bit. I like that. Alright, then we go see Boss, who I absolutely love him. And he's flirting a bit with Lisha right here. Where'd you pick up this cutie? I don't know, Boss and Leisha as a couple, I ship that pretty hard right now. I think that'd be really funny. Anyway, Nefumi says he's going to buy as much as he can to make up for basically stealing everything last time. And I don't know, I could certainly see Boss setting up shop in Nefumi's little village afterwards. I think that could be pretty interesting. I'd like to see that. But anyway, yeah, so under the orders of the queen, Nefumi is given the rights to the demi-human region of the land. Raphtalia doesn't quite understand what this means, but essentially, he's become a lord of the area. All hail the Shield Lord. Oh my god, I love it. I mean, this essentially will serve as his home base moving forward and how he does things, which I theorized when we first saw the village before Kalmyra. I said this would be a great, home base. He goes back and forth between it. He goes, finds demi-humans who have been taken from their village and brings them back here. And as they brings more and more, they build up the village, gets more shopkeepers, more everything else. But I mean, he really goes next level with this. He's building up boats to restart the fishing business. I did not actually think about that at all. I mean, he's really thinking next level. And then Gran is back. Oh my god, I love her. Apparently, she's here to train the new recruits, which, seriously, back in the second wave, I predicted that. I said, oh, I bet she's going to train those party members the shield hero was with, so that when the next wave comes, they'll be super strong, maybe even available to get their next class upgrade. Not quite that, but pretty close. So yeah, she's going to be training all the new party members he brings in. And they even bring in the herbologist and the magic shopkeeper we saw earlier on. Apparently they're going to help start up this village too, because they owe so much to the shield hero. So he's planning on making a huge freaking army, bigger than the other heroes have. One that can completely obliterate the waves, even on their own, even without the hero's help. And Raphtalia starts crying here, and honestly, I really thought it was because she was just, so happy to see her village back together. But no, she's sad. She is really upset here. The shield hero is essentially preparing them for a life without him. I mean, she knows that sooner or later he's either going to die fighting the waves or he's going to go back to his world, and she doesn't want that to happen. And she literally falls to her knees crying and begging him to stay. Thankfully, Nefumi decided he was going to stay, but it's a very intense moment nonetheless. And then they raise the flag, and it means so much to Raphtalia after their whole speech in the prison cell about the flag, and it makes Nefumi remember way back when he made the flag and put it on her food. They've come so far since then, and it's really a great moment. As he said, the shield hero story begins anew. This feels like a good season finale and a good series finale. I mean, the season finale, they have so much set for the next season. Leisha, the home base, all of that. But it also feels like a good series finale. They have everything set up. They have what they need to take on the waves, to become stronger, to become a larger, more unified front that can really fight against the waves, that can really make progress in this world. Let's talk about the other heroes. I mean, Spear at least makes an effort, He wakes up, he's like, no, I need to go fight the wave. And of course, Sword Hero complains Nefumi soloed the wave yet again, as if this was a bad thing. As if he's annoyed that Nefumi is so powerful. And as they're leaving the island, as they're leaving Kalmyra, Shield Hero comments the other heroes are way too useless, and they need to have a nice long talk between each other once again. I mean, I hope after this they've decided they're gonna, team up next time. They're gonna fight as a unified front instead of each of them fighting on their own, because obviously that was useless this time around. Then we get a little wave off between the various heroes. I mean, Bow Hero. He comments that with Nefumi having his domain, they're the only ones who can go around making the world a better place, which, yeah, that's a nice thought, that's good words, but you have not done that at all. I mean, you overthrew a kingdom and nearly just killed all of its people. You literally just made your own party member attempt to commit suicide. I'm sure you have good ideals right here, but I'm 99% certain that you're just going to cause more damage that the shield hero has to fix. I mean, Sword Hero, at least, he's claiming his team gets stronger, far stronger than Nefumi could ever be. Which, I mean, that's something at least. I mean, he's still arrogant, he still wants to, outshine the shield hero and whatnot, but at least he's making an effort, at least he's training, at least he's trying to grow and become better. That's something at least. And yet somehow, Spear Hero was the best one here. I honestly think I might have just had a brain aneurysm to say that, but I mean, let's take a look. I mean, mine's trying to rile up the Spear Hero, get him annoyed, get him angry, get him to go after the shield hero, try to kill him, but the spear hero is, wonderfully calm here. Let's go visit him sometime. I'd love to see Philo. I mean, this is what I was hoping for back in like episode 12, 13. I thought there could be a moment moving forward where the shield hero and the spear hero team up because, the spear hero wants to impress Philo. He wants Philo to like him, so I really would like to see him down the road, trying to be better, trying to do good and be better, if at the very least just so that Philo will like him more, so that Philo won't hate him as much. I mean, there were some really good moments between the two of them in the second wave. Philo teased in bed and he blushed, and back then I said to myself, they can do so much good with these two characters working together. Spear Hero and Philo, I want to see more of them down the road. I mean, she's the, emotional, moral compass he needs to keep him from being stupid. Though, speaking of being stupid, he said something very interesting here. It would behoove you to keep an open mind. And she gets a little confused on why I use that word. Originally, I thought he's being brainwashed or mind controlled by a smarter being somehow, but now I'm wondering, is the spear hero actually smart? Is he actually an intelligent person who is just role-playing as a dumb character? I mean, I've said spear hero is an idiot, and some people in the comments have defended him saying he's not that stupid, but is it possible he's actually a smart person? I mean, I get, using words like behoove doesn't make you smart, but it still feels like a very weird choice to end him on. I'm really curious about that. Oh yeah, also the king is still plotting behind the queen's back, much to her annoyance. I mean, really. I'm sure he has some plan to attack the shield hero's domain or to get people into his party just so they can do evil things and so he can blame the shield hero for it or whatever, but I mean, at this point, you're just exhausting me, King. I'm sorry. We then get a very, weird scene between the slave seller and one of the Queen's shadows. He calls the Queen's shadow his golden goose and says that she will become an even better patron and bring even more profits down the road. Now, this is a very weird scene. Originally, I thought, okay, maybe she's negotiating with him to, free the demi-humans, so she's going to pay him for all of his slaves that they can be brought back to the village, but now I'm not so sure. I'm wondering if there has been something between him and the queen this entire time. I theorized it way back when. I know people have said that's stupid, that's crazy, that's not what's happening, but he said something very interesting when Nefumi took Raphtalia, the sick, the weak, the demi-human, instead of any of the other ones. He said, so he really did pick that one, which made me think that maybe the queen somehow arranged this to happen. The queen wanted Nefumi to take Raphtalia for a certain reason. I mean, others have said, Nefumi is the shield hero. The shield hero helps demi-humans. So that's what he was commenting on, he took a demi-human, but now I'm thinking there really may have been something more to that than I first thought. I'm really curious about what that might be, and I'm curious to see what happens with it. Anyway, the final scene is Keel and Philo bringing in the daily fish as Nefumi and Raphtalia wave to them from the cliff overlooking the beach. And thus, the Rising the Shield Hero comes to an end. There's been no confirmation of a second season yet, which is disappointing. I mean, I'd certainly like to see another season. I know there's been a lot of complaints from a lot of people about this, how it went, how they rushed things, how they skipped a lot of stuff from light novels. But even with everything they've skipped, there's still a lot more from light novels they can use as material to keep moving forward. That being said, though, I'm satisfied with this as an ending. It's optimistic, it looks forward to the future, it brings together a lot of elements that they've been weaving since the first episode, and I really enjoyed it. But let me know what you thought in the comments down below. What did you think of the Rising the Shield Hero, both as a series and the finale? I'm well aware that most people don't think it was a good adaptation, but I think it was a good series and I enjoyed it. Oh, and a quick note, I have another video on the Rising the Shield Hero planned. It probably won't be out for another week or so. It's something that's going to require a little bit of research, and I'm probably going to need to rewatch most of the series over again just to make sure I don't miss anything with this. It's covering a lot of different topics, and I'm very excited about it, though I expect a lot of backlash from a lot of different people on this. Anyway, be sure to like, subscribe so you don't miss it. And until then,
peace.